Hey guys, welcome back to another US history video. Today we'll be looking at immigrants and how they were treated throughout US history. After research, we found that American society changed its treatment and or attitudes towards immigrants to a great extent, but they preferred Western European immigrants and integrated them into society quicker than other immigrants. During the French Revolution, President John Adams passed the Alien and Sedition Acts. The law has 4 parts. The first was that extended residency requirement for citizenship from 5 to 14 years. The second and third part gave the government the right to deport immigrants without trial and people from country of war. The infamous Sedition Act prevented others, especially Democratic Republicans, from speaking against the government's actions. This severely limited immigrants' rights to trial and their ability to integrate themselves into the U.S. In the light of the domestic threat, the U.S. made it hard to immigrate for all.
Around the 1850s, Ireland had a serious problem with their food. Due to the Irish potato famine, 1.5 million people immigrated to the United States. But the fact that the U.S. helped the Irish showed that the U.S. is opening up to immigrants, especially Western European. However, due to the Nativist Party, they didn't have many rights. Further on, the Irish would dominate Tammany, showing their integration into American society. The Nativist Party was a deficit to the Irish people. They were founded in 1844, just in time for the Great Potato Famine and 1.5 million Irish immigrants. The party hated all immigrants, and specifically Catholics, which the Irish immigrants were 90% Catholic. So the Nativists did not like the Irish above all other groups, and helped spread a nationwide hate of Irish immigrants, and helped keep them out of politics and in the lower class. Thankfully, the Nativists, also known as no-nothings in the American Party, dissolved in 1860.
The tension after the U.S. annexing Texas finally brought war in 1846. The Mexican-American War started along the Nueces River where Zachary Taylor's and Mexico's troops met. Eventually ended with the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, which ceded northern Mexican land to the U.S. It also gave rights to Mexican citizens to reside in the U.S. and speak Spanish. Despite their rights, Mexican-Americans would be discriminated against for decades to come. This shows that even though the U.S. happily brought in Western European immigrants, such as the Irish, they severely discriminated against the other races from immigration. In response to the mandatory conscription of the Union during the Civil War, a mob of Irish-American immigrants attacked African Americans who feared they would take their jobs if the immigrants were conscripted. This is one of the first displays of immigrant power in America because the government responded by temporarily suspending union conscription. This shows the power of the Irish immigrants in America and shows that U.S. would tolerate the audacity of Western European immigrants and integrate them into their politics, but not other races.
Tammany Law grew to become one of the most infamous and corrupt political machines of the 1850s. Here's a video of their corrupt actions during elections.
I'm offering my boy to form an alliance with you against Bill Cutting and his slate of nativist candidates. I'll negotiate a handsome fee for every Irish vote you send Tammany's way in the coming elections. I need a new friend in the 5 Points, son. I'd like that friend to be you.
Run by William Boss Tweed, Tammany Hall was the political hub for most Irish immigrants due to the support it provided them politically and in daily life. Tammany Hall's corruption resulted in greater political opportunities for immigrants as they could bargain for liberties with the promise of providing votes.
Due to the high population of Chinese Americans in California as a result of railroad construction creating lots of jobs, citizens in California vied to ban their immigration as a result of the job opportunities being taken up. As a result of this, in 1882, a statute was passed and Chinese discrimination was at an all-time high. Not only did it ban any new Chinese immigrants, but it also led to restrictions on foreign workers. This suppressed the opportunities of foreigners, but also increased public dissent towards the already present Chinese. The Quota Acts aim to limit immigration based on nationality. The first Quota Act of 1921 limited immigration to 3% of the foreigners from a given nation, based off the 1910 census. The 1924 Quota Act further restricted the immigration based off the 1890 census prior to the arrival of many Eastern European immigrants. As a result of this, it mostly favored the Western Europeans, such as the Irish and the English. The Code of Acts also attempted to bar unattractive immigrants, those were deemed to be those from Asia and Eastern Europe, such as the Japanese, from integrating into society. Following Pearl Harbor, the U.S. government forced more than 100,000 Japanese people to leave their homes and go to internment camps. The following clip is one of an internment camp survivor discussing the conditions.
Our whole family, our whole neighborhood went to a place called Amachi, which was in Colorado. That's where I stayed. In the showers, there was no doors in the showers, and it was hard for can you imagine what it's like for an older person to have to go to the bathroom without doors in the showers? And
as you can see from this clip, the Japanese were treated extremely poorly. However, when you contrast this to groups in Western Europe, you find that Western Europe immigrants were treated extremely well in comparison and had a higher social status than those from Eastern Europe or from Asia. As America entered the late 20th century, Americans progressed past this initial discrimination. This is most clearly seen in the Immigration Act of 1965 by Lyndon B. Johnson. Here is a clip from him.
This system violated the basic principle of American democracy, the principle that values and rewards each man on the basis of his merit as a man.
This act ended up creating a great increase in immigration towards the U.S. and led to much growth and prosperity throughout the nation due to the idea that it increased the rights for all immigrants rather than just Eastern Europeans.
So that sums up our video on immigrants and how Americans treated them. We find throughout history that old immigrants were preferred to new immigrants, but after the wake of World War II, immigrants are now treated better. Thanks for watching. Hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you in your next video.